The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the WayFM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally.
Uplifting WayFM.
Stories served with a side of Southern sass.
You're breaking my hair!
I mean charm. Here's Betty Rock.
Gavin, are you and your wife, Haley, are you people that like to leave the captions on when watching TV, or you turn them off?
I turn them on because I tend to miss things. I have bad hearing in general. And then my wife doesn't read. So no, she doesn't have those on.
Read? Yeah.
No.
Well, I found this article that states most of us like to have them on. I know that I fall into this category, and it's been a recent thing. So in my 20s and my early 30s, I didn't have them on. But as I've gotten older, I've turned them on, and it was like one of those things where I found it just happening, and then I just never turned them off.
No, I feel like it's a habit, and I feel like you said, as you've gotten older.
Yeah.
Is it because we're just getting older and our hearing's going?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. It's not always because we can't hear the TV. There are other reasons, and so I found this article that states why that is. Mainly, it's because we have them on to understand better what's going on in the plot. I do that because it helps me pay attention more and not zone out. And it also is to help better understand a character with an accent. So if you're watching something where they've got an Australian accent or a British accent, it's like, yeah, they're speaking English, but sometimes it can be distracting.
It's not our English.
Right, exactly. But those of us who don't like subtitles, we have reasons. Well, I say we, but they have reasons as well. And the most popular are they're too distracting. And I can see that.
Absolutely. If I'm trying to watch something, but I kind of feel like I have to read something, then I don't know where my attention's supposed to be.
Right. That makes sense. They don't match what's being said.
Sure.
I've been in that situation where it was like, I'm reading it and I'm like, that's not exactly what they said.
Well, sometimes we have to write captions for videos we post on social media. And if it auto-generates really poorly sometimes.
Right. And then finally, they clutter up the screen.
Sure.
Now, I've been in that situation too, where I'm watching something and it kind of flips, like the subtitles will be on the top of the screen, and then sometimes it flips to the bottom, and you're just like, it's covering up a face.
I don't want to have to follow this.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know where you land on whether you like them or you don't like them. But the good news is if you start getting used to them now, as you get older, when your hearing does go,
you're good.
You're good to go. It's easy to let the fear of the unknown keep us from doing something that is good for us. But going back to school might not be quite what you think.
Yeah, one of my biggest fears going back to school was I'd have to watch a ton of online lectures, and I kind of have a problem staying awake during stuff like that. But it was so different than I had imagined, and way better.
Yeah, for sure. I thought I was going to have to take a bunch of tests, which I am not a fan of. But instead, I was able to write papers, which for me was way better.
Plus, you have the flexibility to work in school around your work and life schedule. Another big fear I had is, what if I don't understand something? What do I do?
Yeah, CCU, they foster community with your classmates, and they are a great resource. And Colorado Christian University has very responsive online professors who are there to help you, so you are never alone as an online student at CCU.
Learn more about how you can pursue your passion and find your calling with Colorado Christian University at ccu.edu. Colorado Christian University is a nonprofit impact partner committed to cultivating the mind without compromising the heart.
Uplifting WayFM.
Here's what's going on today.
Debt of any kind can definitely be a massive burden and a weight on your life. And apparently, credit card debt has reached an all-time high. And this is a scary number. It has reached an all-time high of $1 trillion. Now, I personally, my wife and I, we do have a credit card, and we've learned to handle that wisely. There have definitely been times when we've been young and rash with it, and that's led to moments of panic where you're like, oh, this is not good that we have this much debt.
Because it's not like when you use a credit card, it's just free. You're eventually going to have to pay that off.
No, you do need to find a rhythm where you're spending the money on the credit card with that plan of paying that off as soon as possible. I know that there's Mark Ramsey and all these people out there who have a lot of good advice for how to handle a credit card. And it does build your credit, which is a good thing, but it can also be a catastrophe because, yes, you're like, oh, I've got like a $15,000 limit on this. That's a lot of stuff I can buy.
Right, exactly.
So they do say that the rising debt level for credit cards is due to a combination of increasing interest rates and inflation, which we can all blame inflation.
Yes.
And $15 Chick-fil-A meals.
I mean, but too, like people starting their kids back at school, like you've got to get them clothes and backpacks and lunch boxes. And if you've got multiple kids, like you said, with everything going up these days, it's no wonder.
No, and it's not like, you know, there's this like increase in how people are getting paid to match that. You've got a lot of people that are in awkward situations where apparently people are drawing on their 401ks to aid in their financial distress. And all of this is coming just months before student debt is going to come crashing back down onto people.
That's right, because you have experience in this. You thought it was going to get taken away.
I'm terrified right now. But I will say I am a little bit nervous because with that coming, I think you're going to have a lot of people who do draw back on their spending, which I'm no economist, but I feel like people aren't going to be spending money in the world, and we're going to face like a weird economy situation.
Yeah, we could see something. But I mean, let me give you a hypothetical. Okay. Let's say that someone is like, listen, I'm going to pay for your trip to go to Harry Potter land. I don't know if that's a thing. But you have to have the cape and the wand, and it's going to cost you $180. You don't have it. Do you put it on the credit card?
Oh, man. I'll pay it off later.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.
Uplifting Way FM. If it's trending, streaming, or starring, Betty Rock's got it. On The Rock Report. Hey, Betty.
If you found yourself lately looking at your home and feeling dissatisfied with it, it may be because you've been watching too many home improvement shows.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so I found this article that claims that the HGTV type shows give you a false impression that it's cheap, it's quick, and it's easy to transform your living area, when in real life, that doesn't always pan out, let's be honest.
And they always paint the people that are like buying these houses as having these like super weird like jobs where people are like, I'm a blogger for a food website and I make $700,000.
Right.
You're like, oh my goodness, congratulations to you.
Right, exactly. The big roadblocks like finding mold in the walls are easily solved in a commercial break, but in real life it takes way longer and multiple trips to Lowe's, to Home Depot. Another byproduct of watching these shows is creating anxiety in viewers on how attractive their home comes across to others. So in the shows, they're putting more attention on like what others think of your home, when in reality, those people aren't living in your home, you are. And they're also talking about how it needs to fit the typical mold of what a polished house looks like. So, for instance, if you've watched any of these type shows, you notice that they're all doing open concepts, shiplap, and gray paint.
What Chip and Joanna Gaines did to us for our entertainment sake was amazing, because they're a great couple and they have a great family and they do beautiful homes. But they did set this expectation for what people like want in their houses and what they want those houses to look like. And a lot of that stuff isn't cheap. Like we live in a rental house right now and we've looked at it and we're like, oh, if we do open concept, but I can't imagine if I tried to smash through a wall.
No.
That's going to be expensive.
No, you wait until you've actually bought something to do those kind of things. And even then, you're like, I don't know. So if the next time you see Jonathan and Drew Scott of the Property Brothers or Ben and Aaron Napier of Hometown show up on your TV, just take what you see with a grain of salt and a dose of reality, knowing that if you have a husband who's handyman challenged, it's not going to quite turn out like you hoped. So lower those expectations. Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes as well as connect with us on social media. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online for supporting what we do.